I'm really excited to introduce to you our guest for the day, Sherri Coale. Sherri is a proud OC alum and former star for the Lady Eagles basketball team. After graduating OC, she coached high school basketball here in Oklahoma for a few years before being named head women's basketball coach at the University of Oklahoma at the age of 31, I believe. Am I right about that? Wow. She spent 25 years in that role before retiring in 2021. Her teams won multiple Big 12 championships, qualified for 19 straight NCAA tournaments, and earned their way into 3 Final Fours. Sherri has been married to her husband, Dane, who is also an OC alum, for 37 years. And they have 2 grown children, Colton and Chandler. And Sherri was just recently came on board as one of the newest members of OC's Board of Trustees, and we're thankful to have her in that role. But my guess is that maybe her proudest achievement is becoming Gigi to these 2 cuties on the screen right here. That's Austin and Scotty. Scotty was born just 2 weeks ago. Scotty, I love that name. It's great, Sherri. Sonia and I have been blessed by Sherri's friendship for probably 30 years now, and I know you'll be inspired by what she has to say to all of us today. So let's give a big OC welcome to my friend Sherri Coale.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Scott. So I didn't know this at the outset, but Gigi is just a name that middle-aged women who aren't ready to wear granny pants yet like to call themselves. That's not why I chose Gigi. I chose Gigi because I wanted to win. I wanted her to say my name first and fastest, and she did, so that works. Just keep that in mind. It's an honor and a privilege to be back here today. I love chapel. Goodness gracious, it was so great to hear you all singing. In 1995, I had a fantastic high school basketball team at Norman High. I had a group that they were a squad, really, really talented. We breezed through the regular season undefeated. We won by an average margin of 37 points per game. It was a yawner in Class 6A in basketball in Oklahoma. Nobody even wanted to go to the playoffs because Norman was just going to run away with it. Nobody cared. We were too good. We'd separated ourselves too much. Except there was this little school in Choctaw that wanted us. We got a Choctaw graduate in the house. This story's for you. You're welcome. Choctaw got out in the newspaper and they said, "We hope we're in Norman's bracket. We want to play Norman en route to the state championship. We hope we get to be the ones that knock them off." And we were like, "What?" And as fate would have it, we got lined up with Choctaw, and in the area finals, we played them and we beat them by 36. Yeah, but the story's still for you. We go back to school, and our student body was so hyped. They had these T-shirts printed that said, "Be careful what you ask for," on the front. And on the back, it said, "You just might get it." They were white shirts with black print, and they sold like hotcakes at the high school. People from town would be in a line in the morning, parked in their cars, running into the main office to buy T-shirts. Business people bought them, fans bought them, all of our student body had them. We're going to the state tournament. We're just as excited as can be. In Oklahoma high school basketball, when you lose in the area finals, you can still go to the state tournament if you win 2 games through the losers bracket. Choctaw did that, and they wound up at the state tournament as well. So we all go to Tulsa. We play our first round game. We do okay. Not great. We do okay. We earn our right to play in the semifinals, and Choctaw wins their first round game, and we're playing them on the campus of Oral Roberts University at the Mabee Center in the semifinals. And it was awesome. Oral Roberts does it up right. They had smoke and mirrors and all this stuff going on, and the arena was full. One side was yellow and blue Choctaw. The other side was white. Norman T-shirts, "Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it," on the back. It was awesome. The atmosphere was crazy. The official threw up the ball. We won the tip, and the ball went square. We couldn't pass. We couldn't dribble. We couldn't shoot. We had airball free throws. I called timeouts. I substituted. We changed lineups. We changed strategies. We tried this offense. We tried that defense. We went in the halftime to the locker room. We were down 10. We hadn't been behind at halftime the whole year. My beautiful halftime speech was, you can't possibly play that badly again. So the second half is going to be better, I promise. And it kind of was. We took the floor in the second half and we were better, but when the final buzzer blew, Choctaw had 3 more points than we did. And all those newspapers and all those radio stations and all those TV stations who didn't want to talk about Class 6A girls basketball now couldn't wait to talk about Class 6A girls basketball. Had a picture of my point guard, head in hands, tears going down her face on the front page of the sports of the Daily Oklahoman. When the game was over, we went to our hotel there in Tulsa because we had planned to stay that night and play in the championship the next day. It was late that night, and our players were in piles in the lobby, and they were in the hallways sobbing. Nobody went to bed. Nobody went to sleep. We got up the next morning. We got on our vans to come back to Norman. We're going down the turnpike, and all I'm doing is pushing the buttons of the radio because nothing in the world is worse than country music when you are sad. That's what we did. We get back to Norman at spring break. It's not over because nobody's seen anybody yet, and so we have that week to wait. We get back in school. Every time a teacher comes up and says, you guys had a great year, we're so proud of you, my players would fall into the floor, weeping and wailing. I'd get a call. You got one down in the library. I'd run to the library, pick her up. It's going to be okay. Spring was brutal because we had really, really wanted to win that title. Spring went into summer, and we went into our summer league, and we played in a little league over in Western Heights, and we get on the bus and go over there and literally file out of the bus like soldiers, walk into the gym, beat a team by like 50, walk back out like surgeons, and get on the bus and go back to Norman. It was very surgical. There wasn't a lot of laughing. There wasn't a lot of joy. Everybody was about their business, and we were destroying people. Summer turned into fall. We start our practicing, and I say to my assistant coach, God, something's just not right. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, something's just not right. And he's like, it's September. And I'm like, I know, but he said, they know what's important. They're playing for March. We returned almost everyone from that fantastic squad the season before. They know when it matters most. They'll be all right. I said, okay. I waited 2 weeks. That's all I could do. Practice hadn't started. One day I blow the whistle. I said, everybody in the locker room. And they file into the locker room, sit down, faces to the floor. Now you got to remember here, they hadn't done anything wrong. Nobody had been late. Nobody had talked back. They hadn't messed up a drill. Nothing had gone wrong. I just knew it didn't feel right. They file into the locker room, and they're all looking at the floor. I said, what's going on? Nobody raises their head. I said, what are you guys afraid of? Now I got 15 sets of eyes looking right at me. I said, tell me what you're afraid of. Nobody dared speak. I said, let me guess. You're terrified that you're going to sell out and you're going to go in with all of your heart and your mind and your body toward winning a championship again, and you're terrified that you might do that and you might not win, and you don't ever want to feel like you felt last spring again. Now I got 15 heads going like this. And they're looking at me like, how did you know? And I said, I had to fight the same demons last spring. I had to make a decision. If this is really what I wanted to do, if it was really going to be worth it, knowing that you could possibly feel like that. And I want you guys to understand something. We are really talented. We had 4 guys in that room that went on to play Division I basketball. We are really talented. And you can kind of halfway go through this and tiptoe, and we might win the whole thing. Or we might sell out with every fiber of our being and not. That's the way it goes with sports. And with life, there are no guarantees. But I want you guys to understand that if you sell out and win it, it will mean, if you sell out and don't win it, if you just go through those motions, if you sell out, let me rephrase that and say exactly what I said. If you don't sell out and win that game, what's it going to mean? You cannot go through the motions and achieve this thing and it mean what it's supposed to mean. There's only one way for you to feel fulfilled when this is over, and that's if you go all in, even if you lose. And I want you guys to know, I only know one way to go about it, and that's to go all in. So if you want to tiptoe through it, you have to do it without me. And I left. And I got in my car and I started crying. I cried all the way home. I got home and I told my husband, I'm going to have to resign if they don't come with it tomorrow. Oh my gosh, what in the world? Why have I done this? And I go to school the next day and I do what teachers do and I teach all day long and I got coaches calling and it comes time for practice and it's the first time that it crossed my mind that I'd given my team an ultimatum. And I grabbed my whistle off the rack and I headed down to the Old South Gym. And when I got to the door, before I reached down to open that wooden doorway, I thought, I know what they've decided. You could smell it, you could taste it, you could feel it coming out of that gym. They had decided to go all in. They were sweating, they were talking, they were laughing, they were communicating. Practice hadn't even started yet. I went to my assistant coach who was at half court and I said, we're gonna win it all. And he said, shut up. And in the spring of that year, we went back to the state tournament on the campus of Oral Roberts University at the Mabee Center. And we ran out in the state championship game and we surrounded the floor and they had lights on us and it was all cool. And our team lined up on the baseline and the lights locked and they were holding hands like paper dolls. And when the lights locked on their faces, you could see giant crocodile tears running down every player's face. They announced the entire roster and then the starters one by one. And when they came to me, it really didn't matter what I said because their hearts had been locked together a long, long time ago. Referee threw the ball up, and this time it was anything but square. We scored off the opening tip. We stole the ensuing inbound pass, made a layup. At the end of the first quarter, we were ahead by 28, and the opposing coach had used all of her timeouts for the whole game. We went in at halftime with a 30-point lead, made a 3 to open the third quarter, never got any closer than that. We were rotating, everybody was getting to play, and at the end of the game, I had this opportunity, which is so special, that coaches don't get very often, and that is that you get to take your seniors out one at a time. I had more than 5, so I had to substitute a little bit. We took our seniors out, and my best player, Stacy Hansmeyer, is at the free throw line, and she is sobbing so hard when the official gives her the ball to shoot it, she can't even make the free throw. We got the rebound, bless Sepulpa's heart, they fouled her, so I got to get somebody in to get Stacy out of the game. And I remember when it was over, the celebration, I remember the sounds, I remember watching our players. But what I remember most was when we went in the locker room afterward, a reporter asked my point guard, doesn't it feel great to get revenge? To get back to the spot where you had such heartbreak a year ago? Doesn't it feel great to get back here and to get that monkey off your back? She stood up on a chair and she said, Coach, he doesn't get it. I said, you're right, Darcy, doesn't. We showered, we changed, we got on the bus, we went back down the turnpike toward Norman, Oklahoma, and we had to turn around about 5 miles out of town because we had left the gold ball on the locker room floor. True story. It is so not about what you get at the end. That group of girls went all in regardless. There were no guarantees. We might win, we might lose, who knows? But they went all in, and as a result of that, they know what it's like to do something right. They know what it's like to be completely immersed in a thing. There are people in this audience today who are freshmen, and you've got 4 years, unless, of course, you take my husband's journey, and that's 5.5, perhaps, to get through here. If you are a sophomore, you have 3 years. If you are a junior, you have 2. If you are a senior, you have 1. Or if you graduate in December, you have 4 months. The specified time frame is different, but it's limited at this place, in this unique environment, with these amazing people and these lidless opportunities. Do not let this slip by while you're looking the other way. You only get this once. I remember being like you, sitting in that chair and being scared and uncomfortable, frustrated, and sometimes annoyed at myself, at the people around me, at even this place sometimes. That's part of it. That's part of becoming. It's part of this journey that you are on. And if you choose to go all in, those feelings are often exacerbated at the middle or at the beginning. But I promise you right now that the person to your right and the person to your left feels all of those things right now. I can tell you without reservation that through the experiences of my life, never have I regretted, even when it didn't turn out like I hoped, going all in. And I know I've got to stop. I'm going to say 3 things real fast. 3 things I want to leave you with. I hope you know that the habits that you're building right now are going to be the foundation for the rest of your life. They're going to be the foundation for the rest of your life. You get asked a lot at a place like this, a well-meaning institution, about what you want to do with your life. That's not the right question. The right question is, who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Are you going to be the guy who pushes snooze every single day? Are you going to be the guy that can't be counted on? Are you going to be the guy that doesn't show up when he's supposed to? Or are you going to be the guy that looks people in the eye when he has a conversation? Are you going to be the guy who can be relied upon? Are you going to be the guy who makes and keeps promises with other people and with himself? Are you going to be the guy who is who he says he is? We're all going to be known for something. We might as well be intentional about it. I hope that you know you get to choose. And I want you to try to stretch yourself. I want you to sit by the girl who doesn't look like you. I want you to go strike up a conversation with the guy you know you have absolutely nothing in common with. I hope that you understand you will probably never in the rest of your life have the diversity that is at your fingertips right now. I hope that you'll learn from the people around you. I hope that you will go on the adventure. I hope that you'll have the conversation. I hope that you'll take the class. I hope that you'll learn about people who are different from you. And then finally, I know this for sure. It's going to be about the people. When you leave here, you're going to get a piece of paper that's going to open a lot of doors for you, and that's awesome. But what will allow you to walk through that door will be the experiences that you had in the journey. It will be the people who rubbed off on you along the way. There is no doubt about it. I want you to know for sure that the people are the prize. When I was here at Oklahoma Christian University, I played for Max Dobson. I played basketball for Max Dobson, and I had, in my first job at Norman High School, on my bulletin board, I had a little piece of paper that was WWMD, and it was, what would Max do? And that was my reminder, if I had a problem with a parent or a problem with a player or a problem with a peer or a problem with a situation, I would think, what would Max do? And I taught my players, I built my program like Dan Hayes built his basketball program here. And I wanted to have a husband and a family like Stephanie Finley, who was my basketball coach here as well. I wanted to teach English, and I did so as to the best of my ability, like Dr. Daryl Tippins taught me to do, sitting on the edge of a table, asking a lot of questions and imploring his students to think. I wanted to teach people that didn't know about Jesus with the same joy and kindness that Dr. Lynn McMillan did in my Bible class. When you do it right and you come to a place like this, the best of this amazing collection of people rubs off on you, and you get to take that with you wherever you go. I'll leave you with one of my favorite quotes. It's from the great author James A. Michener, and he said, "The master in the art of living makes little distinction between his work and his play, his labor and his leisure, his mind and his body, his information and his recreation, his love and his religion. He hardly knows which is which. He simply pursues his vision of excellence at whatever he is doing, leaving others to wonder if he is working or playing, because to him, he is always doing both." That is my wish for you. Make it a year, guys. Make it a year.
Sherri, thank you. Thank you for being with us today and for inspiring us. I knew you would. Next, you guys enjoy your Monday off. We'll be back in here all together on Tuesday. We'll have a time of worship together, and I hope you guys have a blessed weekend. Let's close with a word of prayer. Father, thank you for loving us. Thank you for being our God and for a God that's full of grace and mercy and love for us. Help us be an example for you in everything we do. We love you and thank you for your son, Jesus. In his name we pray. Amen. Bless you guys.